Shalom, beloved family. It's your girl Sophia Spiritualite, and we're going to have a very special, serious conversation about money and the way that we address it, the way that we engage it. But first and foremost, we're going to say a prayer, then we're going to read a psalm, and then we're going to proceed forward. And if for no one else, this video is for me to review every time these issues come up so that I can readjust my mind to what the Most High and what the angels blurt out through my mouth instead of whatever program that I've been running. So, all praise, all glory, and all honor go to the Most High, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the great I am, loving kindness, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We ask for permission to speak with the angels for just a few minutes so that we can get a proper perspective on money that will allow us to build the kingdom because it it just takes money. There's just no way of getting around it. So the prayer. O Lord God, Holy Father, Almighty and Merciful One, who has created all things, who knowest all things, and can do all things, from whom nothing is hidden, to whom nothing is impossible, thou who knowest that we perform not these ceremonies to tempt thy power, but that we may penetrate into the knowledge of hidden things. We pray thee by thy sacred mercy to cause and permit that we may arrive at this understanding of secret things, whatever nature they may be, by thine aid, O most holy Adonai, whose kingdom and power shall have no end unto the ages of ages. Selah. All right, so we're going to read Psalms chapter 135. Praise ye the Lord. Praise ye the name of the Lord. Praise him, O ye servants of the Lord. Ye that stand in the house of the Lord, in the courts of the house of our God. Praise the Lord, for the Lord is good. Sing praises unto his name, for it is pleasant. For the Lord hath chosen Jacob unto himself, and Israel for his peculiar treasure. For I know the Lord is great, and that our Lord is above all gods. Whatsoever the Lord pleased, that did he in heaven and in earth, in the seas and all deep places. He causeth the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightnings for the rain. He bringeth the wind out of his treasuries. Who smote the firstborn of Egypt, both of man and beast? Who sent tokens and wonders into the midst of thee, O Egypt, upon Pharaoh and upon all his servants? Who smote the great nations and slew the mighty kings? Sihon, king of Amorites, Og, king of Bashan, and all the kingdoms of Canaan. And he gave their land for a heritage unto Israel and his people. Thy name, O Lord, endureth forever, and thy memorial, O Lord, throughout all generations. For the Lord will judge his people, and he will repent himself concerning his servants. The idols of the heathen are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. They have eyes. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Neither is there any breath in their mouths. They that make them are unto them. So is everyone that trusteth in them. Bless, O Lord. Bless the Lord, O house of Israel. Bless the Lord, O house of Aaron. Bless the Lord, O house of Levi. Ye that fear the Lord, bless the Lord. Blessed be the Lord out of Zion, which dwelleth at Jerusalem. Praise ye the Lord. To the earthly mother, we thank you for being with us. We thank you for guiding us, and we thank you for walking with us down the path. We acknowledge our older, wiser brother Yahushua and the perfect example he set of how to climb the tree of life and conquer the tree of death. And to the angels, we call in all of our personal guardian angels, the archangels, the various councils and tribes of angels, the angels on the tree of life. We call everybody in right now so we can have this very serious conversation about money and try to establish some sort of thought process that will allow us to be of better service to the kingdom and to the Most High. Selah. Okay, so I'm just going to start with what's right here in this Psalm chapter 135. So in verse 12 it says, and he gave their land for a heritage, and heritage unto his people. So if I just start right there, what is your plan to do with land? Like, he gave us the land for a heritage. What is your plan to do with it? A lot of the houses that will be left on this land will be uninhabitable. There, it's good. You have to just, what is your plan? Like, when every time that this stuff comes up, it's very frustrating to me because, like I have said before, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. Literally, my grandmother was a house cleaner. That was her job. My grandfather worked for the government, but he fixed stuff on the side. My grandmother cooked, sold stuff for money, like food products and stuff, different things, sort of pseudo catering. Like my great grandfather. I come from a whole line of entrepreneurs, and so it's always been very difficult to understand people who say, you shouldn't sell whatever it is that you have, whatever it is that you can do. You should not trade that for money, because everything that I have, the Most High gave me. Every skill that I have, every talent, he didn't just give me the ones that are spiritual. He gave me everything. So if he gave me everything, that means I shouldn't sell anything at all, ever. And that doesn't make sense. And I don't think any one talent is more valuable than another talent. And we see that in the parable of the talents. All the talents are the same. It's just, are you going to take your talent and do something with it? So first and foremost, we have to understand that it's not about the money. So let me go on. Let's look at verse 15. Chapter 135, verse 15. And this is the psalm and the prayer that I picked for the 40-day fast. This is the one that I used when we did our card reading. Just to be like the theme of the fast for me. And it turned out to be exact, precise. So if we look at verse 15 in chapter 135, it says, the idols of the heathen are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. Just pause right there. They are the idols of the heathen. They're not the tools. See, language is very, very important, because there's a huge difference between an idol that you worship and a tool that you use. If you have a tree, the tree can be an idol, like you worship the tree, or the tree can be a tool, as in you talk to the tree, you ask the tree, you petition the tree to petition the Most High. That would be using the tree as a tool. So just take that theory and apply it to money. It's the Gentiles worship it as their God, and we have the ability to use it as a tool, not as our God, not worshiping it, but as an actual tool of accomplishing a goal. Because again, what are you going to do with the heritage of the land? What are you going to do with that unless you have a way? And when you rule over people, you have to pay them. Otherwise, it's slavery. That's what they did to us, a lot of us. They forced us to work without pay. So do you mean to tell me that as a part of your taking over the kingdom, you're going to force the Gentile to work without pay? How is that righteous? See, the difference is there's a huge difference between operating in righteousness and operating in evil and wickedness. So let's look at verse 16. Chapter 135 of Psalms, verse 16. They have mouths, but they speak not. They have eyes, but they see not. Verse 17. They have ears, but they hear not. Neither is there any breath in their mouths. Let me ask you something. Well, everything that you know about everything, do you think that the money that you have doesn't hear? The money you have in your pocket, does it not hear? Does it not have eyes that it can see? Does it not have ears? Or what's the other one I missed? Does it not have a mouth? You don't think the money that you have in your pocket speaks to the Most High? Everything has a spirit. That includes the money. How can you believe that everything has a spirit except for the money in your pocket, except for the card that you use, except for your bank account? How is that possible? The thing is, there's a lot of cognitive dissonance because people want to. This has always been my problem with organized groups of religious people is they don't want to apply the rules to everything. They don't want to apply them equally. They only want to apply them to certain things. So it's true that you can supercharge a candle and in our animate object and speak to it in such a way that it will obey your commands. But it is not true that you can also do that with money, which is also an inanimate object, just, an inanimate object, just like a candle. Or like with the Christians, you can go to the altar and drink some grape juice, which is an inanimate object, and somehow that grape juice is the blood of Christ. You have to have an even mind. You have to apply the rules that apply to the Most High to everything. You can't only apply them within certain, constructs. Oh, the Most High only the earth angels are only the things on the outside, but the money that we have, no, that's not an angel. Our bank accounts, there's no angel over our bank accounts. No, there's no angel over this gold and this silver. There's no angel over that. Me personally, if I put a piece of gold or a piece of silver on my shrine, you best believe I believe that there's a spirit in that gold and that silver. Why? Because if there weren't a spirit in that gold and that silver, everything else on my table is animated with life. So why would I put a dead thing amongst the living? Yahweh Shai said, "Let the dead bury the dead." Why would I put the dead among? Why do you look for the dead amongst the living? Again, it's simple things. Like, you just have to be consistent in thought. You cannot hold money in a total separate category than everything else the Most High does. It has to all be one. And that's the reason why we can't advance as our group, because every other group of enlightened, melanated people has come to this conclusion beside us. Just our group. Because even if you look at other Hebrew Israelites, like I was listening to the Bible study that Sister Lisa Cabrera does on Saturday. And for the last couple of weeks, the guy has been talking about this same thing. Like, you have to go out and build the kingdom, and it takes money. It takes... You have to have the money to build the kingdom. You can't build a kingdom without money. So even other groups of Hebrew Israelites are coming to this conclusion. So what's up with the spiritualites that we still haven't figured out that you have to make money? You have to change the way you talk about it. You have to change your relationship with it. Really, you have to break the curse. It's the reason why their money is an idol that doesn't have a mouth and doesn't talk and doesn't see and doesn't hear and doesn't have any breath, is because of the curse that they placed on it. They cursed their money so that it would lose all of those properties and it become an inanimate object. And you would carry around a piece of dead amongst your body, the living. So what you have to do is reanimate it. You have to reactivate that particular... First of all, you have to break the curse. Again, like I said earlier, you have to break the curse of the money. You have to break the curse. You have to break their magic spell, the Babylonian magic spell, and then you have to activate it. The same way with your Anana, the same way with, consecrate. You have to activate it. You can't, it's just, I just find it to be, I don't know how to understand how you can say the Most High is grand, the Most High is great, the Most High is all of this stuff, all praises to the Most High on one hand, but when somebody says, look, you need to, get your financial house in order because X, Y, and Z, all of a sudden, oh no, the Most High is going to take care of me, this and that. When has the Most High worked like that? He says if you take one step, he'll take 100. A lot of y'all haven't even taken one step. The beloved sister I spoke to, she said the Most High gave her an idea, and she's been making money off that one idea for 20 years. How many ideas has the Most High given you? It's not the idea. The Most High gives us things every single day. This is why I can't keep track of all I have more ideas than I know what to do with, because every day I'm listening, I'm tuned into the frequency of ideas to make money, because I put that in my mother instilled that to me in me as a young person. You know, as a very young person, you want to have a product and you want to sell it, and you know that whole buying and selling concept. My mother instilled that to me as a very young person. So I never had a problem with buying and selling and all of that, like, you know, choosing who you spend your money with, choosing how you spend your money. I never had a problem with that. It's just when I get over here on this side, all of a sudden, if you have a spiritual gift, you're not supposed to charge for that. Or if you do charge for it, it's a problem, because really there's some like unknown stigma about spending money with people within the nation. And there's another unknown stigma that says if your talent is a spiritual talent, you have to use it for the Most High completely free of charge, where I never seen the Most High say that. I've never seen that anywhere in my Bible. What I have seen is that people have not broken the spell over their money, and so the Babylonian magic, that dead money, is still in your pockets. So you have the dead amongst the living, which is going to poison everything that you do. So everybody doesn't have to address this head on. That's why some people, they get their Ananon, it works and there's no problem and this and that. But there's other people like me who this has become a huge, almost like a demon, like, because it's so much negativity around it and it's so much cognitive dissonance amongst people in the nation that it's very difficult to figure out how to think about these things and how to approach these things. But don't believe me, I am going to do a separate video with just this particular scripture. But look at, I talked about it in the video from this morning, but I'm going to talk about it again. Look at Matthew chapter 28. This is the King James Version. Chapter 25. I keep getting it wrong. All right, look at Matthew chapter 25. So the first part from verse 1, I'm just going to paraphrase. I'm not going to read it, but I might need to quote a couple of the lines. From the first line to from verse 1 to verse 13 is this parable of the 10 virgins. And it says that 5 of them were wise and 5 of them were foolish, because the ones that were foolish took their lamps, but they didn't have any oil. And so in the middle, they fell asleep. A druid sleep came upon them. And then in the middle of the night, they woke up. The bridegroom is on his way. So the foolish said to the wise, who had brought the extra oil with them, "Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out." But the wise said no. Okay, freeze. Let's just pause on that right now. What did the wise say? When they saw the foolish, they hadn't done the work. They were, they purposely hadn't done the work. It's not like they didn't have a choice. They purposely had not prepared. They were not prepared. The wise said to the foolish, "No, we're not going to give you our oil, because then what's going to happen? We're not going to have any oil for ourselves. None of us will have oil." So the foolish ones, what they do? Then they went to buy the oil, whereas instead of going to sleep, going to the bridegroom unprepared, they could have stopped on the way, bought the oil so that they would be prepared when the bridegroom came. So in that story, are you prepared? Do you have your extra oil stocked up? And if you don't, It's different if you're trying and things aren't working. The effort does make a difference. However, in this story, we see that the foolish ones didn't even make the effort to stop. They didn't even try to stop. They did not take the one step. All they did was show up and say, "Oh, you know, I'm on the list because I'm one of the sheep and I'm not the goat and I'm an Israelite and so like you got to let me in this gate." And at the end, that's not what happened. The bridegroom came and went and they saw they weren't ready, and the bridegroom took the ones who were ready for the marriage with the Shekinah, and to the other ones he said, "I don't know you. Who are you?" And so if you haven't done the work of preparing yourself, your physical self, and because I think also when they use the term virgin, that's Virgo, that's an earth sign, that's your physical self. If you haven't done the work of preparing your physical self for the bridegroom to come so that you can be married into the kingdom, so that you get your actual inheritance cut, what is going to happen? I mean, I don't know you because, hey, my children are prepared. And not necessarily, again, this doesn't necessarily mean that you have it all together. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you have a plan. I've been talking about this for weeks. This has been coming up for weeks. So this has been weeks in the making. But I have been saying, figure out what it is that you can do to contribute to the kingdom. Figure out what it is that you're going to do as your job. You don't go into a kingdom. Everybody has a job in the kingdom. Even the king has a job. This is very difficult to sit around and make decisions. Decisions are very difficult. They take a lot of brain power, and I make a lot of decisions. I make very aggressive decisions, and when you make aggressive decisions, you have to think about all the possible outcomes. So most of the time, you're just trying to figure out how all the pieces can fit together and without the minimal amount of blowback or repercussions or whatever. That's very, very difficult. So if you haven't at least done the work of thinking, okay, so what is my plan for the next X, Y, and Z? What can I do that I can offer for sale? And the whole thing is, I always tell people, just start with something you already have. Don't try and do something you got to go out and buy. You got to go out and this. You got to go out and that. Even if it is, writing articles and putting them on the internet. Even if it is recording voice memos and putting them on, the internet or whatever. The whole idea is to have something. Like, everybody has something. Even if you can't read, then maybe you can, you could draw pictures. I mean, you cannot, everybody has been given something. Like the parable of the talents, that's one that's coming up next. Everybody has been given something. And so if you can't take your something, whatever it is that the Most High gave you, and turn it into something else, if you can communicate with the angels, why aren't you selling that? So this is where we get into the spiritual side. Some of us, we have only spiritual gifts. We don't have any practical gifts, like stuff that, normal people would use. You better sell it, because the bridegroom is coming. And if you don't have oil for your lamp goes out, that's it. The door is closed. I never knew you. I don't know who you are. These virgins were ones that were chosen. These were the chosen ones. These were not Gentiles. These were us. And there are some of us who are not prepared. We're just not ready. And it's not because, it's only because we have been programmed by this dead money to believe that if we do anything to earn more dead money, that we're going to have a problem, when in fact your money should be living. There should be an angel over your money, just like there's an angel over everything else. You just have to break the curse, again, break the Babylonian curse that killed the money, that killed the physical spirit of the money, and dedicate that back to the Most High and reprogram your own energy field to understand this money is not dead. This is not a dead object I'm looking at. When I come into my room with all my stuff, I say, hello, everyone. I don't know how many angels is in here when I come in. I got a lot of different stuff. I mean, you could just see the stuff on my table, but like I got books, I got crystals everywhere. I got a lot of stuff. So, and I got electronics and tables, and I have stuff. So I just say, hello, everyone. I don't know all the spirits that are in here. I couldn't guess. But I know that everything has a spirit. And these spirits are protecting me because I asked them, please protect me, protect my house. I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't figured this thing out. I need you guys' help. I say it to my candle, but I say it to everything, not just to my candles. I say it to everything. So again, if you're able to whip out a pendulum, where's my pendulum? If you're able to whip out a pendulum and tell somebody something, or reprogram somebody's energy field, this is something that you could sell. It's an effort. It's the effort that counts. And right now, the effort of doing a fast is good. That will put you in the right emotional and mental state. But when you're in this emotional and mental state, you should be seeking the Father's face for what is my job in the kingdom, not what is my tribe. Tribe is irrelevant. Tribe is irrelevant. You need to know what your job is. You need to know what work he has for you to do, because everybody works in the kingdom. You got the court jesters, you got the cleaners, everybody has a job in the kingdom. Me, I will be grateful just to clean the toilets in the kingdom of the Most High. I don't care about this stuff. Like, whatever the Most High wants for me to do, I'm willing to do it. But at the same time, I'm still thinking of, okay, if I'm going to be a janitor in the kingdom of the Most High, how can I be the best janitor? How can I improve my cleaning skills so that when the Most High comes and sits on his royal throne, it will be clean enough for him. It'll be worthy of him. So you have to look at it like that. But that's not just, the kingdom is a spiritual kingdom, but it's a physical kingdom too. So what are you doing to prepare your physical kingdom for the Most High to come? I think that's why things like the Day of Atonement and all of that stuff are so important, because it is a reminder that the Most High's kingdom is not just a spiritual kingdom, it's a literal kingdom, and the literal kingdom is in your house. So if you're not in a place where you feel comfortable, you can space out and have space to do what you need, then you need to be seeking the Father on, okay, how can I get into a bigger a space that will accommodate what I need to do your work. I can't do your work in no place like this. See, when I made my covenant for this 40-day fast, I put that on my list. I made a physical list. I made a physical covenant, and I put that on my list. I can't work like this. Okay, I cannot wake up every morning and be worried about this and worried about that and worried about this. So you're going to have to take care of that. And I don't care how you do it, because I don't. I'm not going to micromanage the Most High. But all I know is I don't want to wake up every morning and be worried about this and worried about that. And so far, my covenant has been fulfilled. I have no idea how. I can't tell you how. I can't even begin to guess how. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care what. I'm not micromanaging the Most High. He can do it however he want to do it. It's fine with me. But the point of the matter is, number one, I asked, I made the effort, I offered something in exchange for it, which was me complying with the terms of the fast, and it was accepted as a covenant. Again, this goes back to the video I did on covenants and contracts, or the other C word, but the lesson that I did on covenants, because everything is a covenant. Everything you say is a covenant. So when you say, I don't have any money, this and that, and I know I say that a lot, a lot of it is because people can look at how my stuff is set up, or the tech that I have, or whatever the case it may be, and think that that is something that, like I'm going out and spending my money on this stuff. I've had all of this stuff. The Most High prepared me for this time. I just didn't want to do what he said, So then when I said, okay, well, I guess I have to do what he says. Now I'm doing all of this stuff. But I already had everything that I needed in my house. I didn't have to go out and buy new stuff. I already had the stuff, But there is stuff that I would like to upgrade and whatever, all of that. But it's not going to affect me doing these videos the way I'm doing them right now. They're getting done. It's just fine. So Okay, now let's go into the parable of the talents. So that's in this version is in Matthew 25. And again, the version that's in Luke, or is it John? I think it's John, is a little bit different. So in this version, this is starting at verse 14. Okay, so let's look at verse 15. This is probably the only verse I have to read. And this is about the master giving out the talents. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. What does that mean? The one that got 1, the one that got 2, the one that got 3, they all had abilities. They could do something to earn money. They had the skill. All right, they had it in them. They were born with that skill to do something with their money. What does he call it here? Talents. And unto one he gave, okay, so he gave them according to their ability. So if you have less ability, then you will get less talent. If you have more ability, you will have more talent. And so the greater the talent, the greater the return. Meaning, if he gave you 5 and you don't come back with 10, he gonna be looking at you crazy. So that the reason why I say that is, amongst our people, we have a lot of talents. We have a lot of spiritual talents. We have a lot of things we can do. And if you are not taking your 5 talents that you've been given and turning them into 10, the master is not going to be happy. You're supposed to take your 5 and turn it into 10. The one who he gave 2, I would say like that's the 2/3. He gave them 2. They're going to do something with it. They're not going to do nothing with it. They're going to take their 2, maybe turn it into 4 or 5. You know, they'll do good things in their life. They all do. All the 2/3 we know. They do good things in their life. They help people. They're not bad people. They just don't. They weren't born with 5. You know, the light called them, but they didn't recognize that it was the light because they weren't born with 5. They were born with 2. Then you have the people who are born with 1, or the people who have 1. Those are the church people. Those are the people who, instead of, the church, the people who go to church, the people who, instead of taking your 1 talent, the Most High didn't even give you much, but you can't even take the 1 that you have. You take it and you bury it in service to the church. You bury it by giving your energy to the church. You don't put the energy into your family, to building yourself, to learning about your angels, to reading any other books, to developing your own skills and talents and hobbies and abilities. You take it and you give it to the church. You give your 1 talent the Most High gave you, and you give it to the church. And what does he say happens with those people? The person said, and I was afraid. The church makes you afraid. And I went, this is verse 25, I'm sorry, and went and hid thy talent in the earth, in the church. Lo, there thou hast that is thine, so that you would have what is yours. And the Lord, his Lord, answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore have put my money into the exchangers. Then at my coming I should have received my own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it to him which have 10 talents. And then I'm going to skip verse 29 because it's long. Verse 30. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into the outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. They just throw him out into the dark. Again, these were his people. These were not Gentiles. This is a story about us, not about the Gentiles. And so if you take your 1 and you hide it under 66 books, 80 books, you know, the sanctioned books by whoever sanctioned them, whatever, and you don't take your one and turn it into two, that's magic. That's magic to take 5 and turn it into 10. If you don't take your 2 and turn it into 4, if you don't do the magic to turn your 2 into 4, instead you hide it in the earth, that's not a sacrifice to the earth. That's a ritual that destroys the value of the money. That puts a curse on the money. The curse of the earth, that actually comes up at the end. They took in this same set of books, this is 25 through 28, they took the money that I'm sorry. They took the money, the 30 pieces of silver that they gave to Judas, and buried it in the field, and they called the field of blood. So this is actually kind of like a foreshadowing of that, because literally because they're going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. But if you just take it and bury it, if you don't take it and do something with it, even if you lose it, if the Most High understands if you lose it because you tried. But a lot of us, again, we're not trying. We have the wrong conversation with money because you are talking to a dead money, when in fact you should be talking to a living money, not a dead money, not a dead Babylonian magic trick money. They put so much quote unquote occult symbology in the money that we think that it's bad. However, the occult symbology is our druidic symbology. So they put us in the money, and instead of you being able to accept it for that, the all-seeing eye is the eye of Horus with the light illuminated by it, behind it. That's one of our symbologies. So instead of understanding that they literally made the money for us to break the curse over it, you guys have this weird, just people shouldn't make money. People shouldn't, it's better to just ask for money than to try and earn the money. There's not anybody talking about it in these terms. And this is just 2 scriptures. I could have gone through and I actually did this when I was younger, went through and got all the scriptures about money and came to my own conclusion on that. This is the type of stuff, I've been doing this forever, my whole life. So you guys have to really and if it's not these 2 scriptures, go and find your own. Go look up and see what Yahweh Shai says about money. Because one time he went into the temple, he saw them buying and selling. He didn't say anything because it wasn't the buying and the selling that was the problem. It was the usury. Usury is not allowed by the Most High. That is a breaking of the covenant of the Most High. And as you can see, even in the story, sowing where you didn't, reaping where you didn't sow, and all that stuff, none of that stuff is condemned. He didn't condemn the master for sowing where he didn't reap. He didn't condemn the master for sowing where he had laid no straw. That wasn't the problem. The problem is the usury. The problem is the magic. The magic of taking someone else's dollar and charging them credit and interest on a dollar that they don't even possess. And charging you to possess, literally demonically possess their money. That's usury. That's the problem. That's what Yahweh Shai had the problem with. And you could go back, reread the scriptures for yourself, and tell me how you don't come to these conclusions. I'm not going to go on any further. I just really think these things need to be said. We have to really change our understanding of money. We have to change our mindset. We need to be able to talk about this honestly and freely and really work on helping the ones who need help, That's why I always ask for money. I know I need help. I'm not going to lie about that. That's ridiculous. I would be a fool to think that the Most High is going to somehow give me some money without me at least asking for it. Ask and ye shall receive. That's like the number 1 rule. That's a scripture everyone knows. Knock and the door will be open. Seek and ye shall find. But first you have to ask. First you have to knock. First you have to seek. So if you're seeking the Most High, but you're not seeking any money, to fix your problem. You just want the Most High to fix it without money. What if money does fix the problem that you have? Did anybody think about that? What if money fixes the problem that you have? But not regular money, activated money. Spiritually activated money in a spiritually activated field. That is the two keys. Like, we have to activate our money by canceling out the curse, and we have to be spiritually inclined. And those things take work. Those things take effort. Those things take energy. And what they do not take is for us to keep ignoring the problem like it's not happening, and so that people are suffering and we're not really doing anything about it besides praying. No, we need to have other things we can do. If it's a fund, if it's whatever it is. I mean, I will organize as much as I can. We will see that in the coming days. I'm going to put together as many different things as I can. But at the same time, everybody's got to do something. Again, you were given 5 talents. Everybody who was watching this was given 5. So if you don't take your 5 and turn it into 10, the master is not going to be happy. And you see what he does to the people who don't fulfill their potential. Because like with the 10 virgins, all 10 of them could have gone with the bridegroom. He had space for everybody, but he only took 5 because the other 5 weren't prepared. They didn't put forth the energy and the effort to make sure they had what they needed for when the bridegroom came. So when the kingdom does come, what you got for it? What you got on it? Anything? Do you have anything on the kingdom? Like you got 5, you got 10, you got 1, you got anything on the kingdom? We all gonna have to pitch in for it. You gotta have something on it. It's just like the bottle. You got something on the bottle, you get the bottle of, Veuve Clicquot. That shit is $75. You got something on it, you gonna drink? You gonna drink though, you gonna partake in the kingdom, but you ain't got nothing on the kingdom. Does that even sound right? Does that sound righteous? No. Does that sound righteous? Because to me, that does not sound righteous. I want to come to the kingdom correct with whatever it is I have to have. If I got to come to the kingdom with at least what Mansa Musa had, hey, I need to be working on that. That needs to be my goal. Look, I don't feel comfortable approaching the Most High, approaching the kingdom without at least having as much money as Mansa Musa had, because the wisdom is going to come as I get the money. The wisdom is going to come anyway, because we already have the wisdom. We just don't have the fruits. We don't have the fruits of the wisdom because of our ridiculous relationship by putting God in relation to money on a separate platform from God as related to everything else, which is why I think the Anana works, because we use the Anana to transmute the spirit of the money from the Babylonian magic for the most high, for the kingdom, and through the inanimate object, if you want a scientific understanding of why that process works, because you're transmuting the bad energy from the Babylonian magic into righteous energy for the most high. And so the Anana is actually absorbing that. And it's standing as a proxy and absorbing it. But how many ananas are you going to use when you could just when you could clear your energy field of your negative understanding? You could break the curse of the money for your own self, and then as you break the curse of the money, then the work for the anana will be easier. Like, I don't want my anana to be pitch black every single time. Why would I want to make any of God's angels work that hard? It's the same way I feel about my guardian angel. As long as I'm in this position, my guardian angel has to work overtime. That's not fair. That's not right. I don't want my guardian angel to be working like this. I have to get this stuff in order, because I don't want my angels to be stressed out and suffering and all this stuff on top of all the other work they got to do. They also got to come here and do whatever they got to do to keep my thing going every single day. I want to make their life easy. It's the same thing with the Most High. I want to make it easy for the Most High to bless me. I want to make it easy for the Most High to give me the kingdom, because I took my 5 and I turned it into 10. I didn't take my one and bury it. And so until you are able to wrap your mind around that concept, it's going to continue to be these problems. And within our nation, all the other nations are going to rise, and we're going to still be here because everybody else understand. Every other conscious person understands it's about money except for us. We're the only group left that doesn't get this. It is very, very sad. And I can see now why I'm here with this group, but I don't want us to be left behind because everybody else got it and we didn't. Everybody else knew the money was a tool, and we still looked at the money as the Gentiles' God. The money is not their God. First of all, the money is not theirs. Start with that. It's not theirs. They obtained it illegally, so it's not theirs. And even worse, not only is it not theirs, they cursed it so that if you take possession of it, it will curse you. It's because it's dead. I mean, if you're going to destroy a people and tell them it's for lack of knowledge, well, what kind of knowledge did we lack? Maybe we lack the knowledge of the understanding of how money was supposed to work because of that curse that they put on it. Has anybody ever thought about what knowledge we lack? Because it didn't say. It says, my people have perished for a lack of knowledge. Well, what knowledge? Because we're pretty much, most of us, we know about the Most High, spiritually, naturally. We understand about the Holy Mother naturally. We understand about, the prophets and this and stuff kind of like by assimilation. So what is the knowledge that we perish for? And if you think it was for a knowledge of, we didn't know all the names of the Most High, I don't think so. That doesn't make sense. But could we perish for the lack of knowledge about money because they put the curse on the money and we bought into the curse? As we traveled the world buying and selling, that curse infiltrated into us, and therefore we took on the spirit of that curse. And so in order to break the curse on ourselves, we have to break the curse on the money. It goes hand in hand. Because you can't have slaves and treat them bad. So you have to pay them. You have to pay them in money. You have to buy and sell in money. Can't just trade in grains and fruits. Doesn't work like that. So anyway, I've gone on about this long enough. I'm not going to anymore. But I just want you to do your own research. Come to your own conclusion. But if what I say makes sense, give me a thumbs up. Put a yes in the comment box. Share this with your family and friends. We can all break the curse together because guess what? The bridegroom had space for all 10. Everybody could go. The master had kingdoms for everybody. He gave talents. It was no lack of kingdoms. It was no lack of bridegrooms. It was just us. We mess ourselves up by worshiping a dead money with the Gentiles instead of using the living money as a tool. I have no idea where any of that came from, so I hope that it helps. I have to go back and re-listen to this myself. I'm sure I need to hear it. But to the spirits who are here with us, of course, we invite you to go in peace. To my beloved viewers, we invite you to be at peace and always remember, the Most High is your peace. Shalom, everyone. Oh, my Bible's in the way.